greater service. I've requested him to make a presentation on the finance track. To my right is my very able and distinguished Sherpa, Mr. Abhay Thakur. Many of you know him very well. He's been our ambassador in several countries, again, a very distinguished officer. So Mr. Abhay Thakur is here. Ladies and gentlemen, I will quickly take you through a brief presentation. We would like to run this session on time. This comes from a very civilizational Sanskrit saying that the earth, one family, one future. And it emanates from the Indian text of Maha Upanishads, which brings out that human, animal, plant, microorganisms, and there is interconnectedness. The G20 logo evokes the idea of unity in diversity, of a pro-planet approach to life. The lotus the logo is also symbolic of the attainment of growth, even amidst vast challenges. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Udaipur, the city of lakes. Just to give you a perspective of some of the places where you are staying. These are India's G20 priorities, a slight variation amongst, between all of us, whether it's the finance track, the Sherpa track, and with slight variation, or the engagement group with slight variations, we broadly cover the same areas. So accelerated, inclusive, and resilient growth, accelerating progress on SDGs, particularly health and education, green development, climate finance and life, technological transformation and digital public infrastructure, multilateral institutions for the 21st centuries, and 3Fs, food, fuel, and fertilizers, and women-led development. We have actually these working groups, and all these working groups are in many ways multi-sectoral. They are cross-cutting. They all lead to the same priorities. We have earlier circulated our issue notes, and we've posed the issues, and I'm quite sure that all of you would have been through them, and we look forward to all your comments and your perspective on them. And we'll be in the listening mode as you guide us and as we get your perspective. So ladies and gentlemen, we just broadly that on trade and investment, we are talking about resilient global value chains. We are talking about integrating medium and small industries and global trade. We are talking about trade for growth and prosperity. On development, we are talking about data for development, accelerating progress on sustainable development goals. We are talking about lifestyle for environment. And in the employment working group, we are talking about addressing global skill gaps, sustainable financing for social security, gig and platform economy, and social security. And in the tourism working group, we are talking about green tourism, digitization for transforming tourism, skills for tourism, medium and small enterprises. And in agriculture, we are talking about enhancing food security and nutrition, sustainable agriculture with climate smart approach, tech and digitization for agriculture. And in the digital economy, we've focused on digital public infrastructure, quite a bit on our own experience of creating digital identities for everyone, creating bank accounts, which has enabled us to lift vast segments of our population above the poverty line through direct benefit transfer and fast payments. We do a huge number of fast payments. We've created a vast number of public goods. We'll talk about them. And therefore, public digital platforms and cyber security and cyber safety, which is, to our mind, will be very critical in the digital economy of tomorrow. On the health side, we'll talk about prevention, preparedness, and response for health emergencies, digital health for universal access, and improved service delivery, and strengthening cooperation for vaccine therapeutics and diagnostics. These are all the issues we brought out in our issue notes, and on education issue note, we brought out foundational literacy and numeracy, strengthening research and innovation, tech-enabled learning, and the future of work, which is very critical. And on the culture side, we've talked about protection and restitution of cultural property, culture for sustainable living, creating economy, and how do you leverage information communication technology for preservation of culture. Ladies and gentlemen, then there is the key working group of energy transition, which cuts across several ministries and several sectors. It's about low-cost finance for energy transition. It's about the fuels for the future. That is bioenergy cooperation amongst G20, the principles of green hydrogen, which is very important if you have to decarbonize the economy, universal access to clean energy, just energy pathways, energy security, and diversified supply chains. And ladies and gentlemen, our perspective is that we should have a win-win collaboration between all of us, developing countries, global south, and advanced economies, all of us. We need to build new approaches. This is a unique forum of both developed world and the emerging economies, so we need to build approaches to benefit the world on key global issues. The world is facing vast number of challenges. As Sherpas represent their leaders, how can we shape an inclusive future? And how can we, since it is being held in India, we'll be very happy and we'll be delighted to share some of our Indian experiences in this. Our Prime Minister has talked about this at great length, about one Earth, one family, one future, that the challenges that we face today can be solved only by working together through hope, harmony, and healing. And our first concern should be towards those whose need is greatest. And therefore, we need to focus on the global south as well. Our G20 presidency would seek to advocate the oneness of all in accordance with our theme, One Earth, One Family, One Future. And our priorities will reflect not just the aspirations of all of you, the G20 partners, but also the global south, whose voice is often unheard. Ladies and gentlemen, our Prime Minister has said that we would like to be inclusive, ambitious, action-oriented, and decisive, and we will be, but that is not feasible nor possible without all of you. And therefore, we would like all the support, we'd like a positive and forward-looking support from all of you to make G20 a very vibrant, very dynamic, and a very positive group to drive global growth and global sustainability and digital transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, lastly, I would say that we would like all of you to experience India, and we'd like all of you to have an experience which is spiritually elevating, culturally enriching, and a mentally rejuvenating, and a physically invigorating experience. We will try and ensure that in Udaipur you go back fully rejuvenated before you reach your country.